Tras 5 horas de agitado debate en el Capitolio el lunes 18 de febrero, el Comité de Normas Especiales aprobó por unanimidad la propuesta 978, que plantea incautar el vehículo de cualquier conductor indocumentado que esté involucrado en algún accidente vial en el estado de Georgia.
This is the meeting of the Special Rules Committee, and we're here to hear House Bill 978 in its revised version.
Now, as we just look for guidance and how to deal with this bill that's being proposed, we just pray that to help us do the right thing.
There are those today that you'll hear from that want to turn this into an ethnic argument. That's not the intent of this author. But make no mistake about it. If you're in the state of Georgia and you are here illegally, then that is my full attempt to protect legal Georgia citizens.
Afectados por conductores indocumentados sin licencia, expertos que consideran la propuesta inconstitucional y víctimas de perfil racial testificaron en la audiencia pública.
Knowing that people could probably never understand what it's like to lose a child. But it's also very difficult for me to stand up here knowing that when I go back to my city, the city that I live, I might be labeled, as an illegal immigrant hater, and that's just not the case.
Well, anything to do to curb this problem of illegal immigration is a plus. Something's got to be done. I lost my son back in 2000. I was sitting at a red light. And this illegal alien, Gonzalo Harold Gonzalez, rear-ended me at 62 mile an hour estimated speed. Lost my son and our family pet at the scene.
To the extent that we pass this, I'll give a due pass recommendation. In that example, about an individual who you've arrested on numerous occasions, taking his vehicle, is that going to stop him from being bonded out, going and getting another vehicle, and then we come and arrest him again and take his next vehicle?
Well, how many cars can you afford in a week?
I know how many I can, but I don't know how to do it.
At least this law is allowing it to make it harder for him to be on our highways.
I'm here to strongly oppose HB 978. This legislation would sanction the taking of private property. I want to make that very, very clear that this legislation is opening up a slippery slope of where the state will be taking private property. Representative Mills has stated in past hearings that employers who allow their employees to drive vehicles should also be targeted. So employers, you need to be aware because they're coming after you too. This is a slippery slope. Where do we stop? Next, should we take their homes? Should we take businesses? What about the poultry industry, Representative Mills? If there's an immigration raid in one of the poultry plants, should the state seize that property because there was illegal activity taking place on that property? How about our farmers? Should we seize farm equipment? It says all persons are entitled to due process protections under the U.S. Constitution. So regardless of a person's status, both U.S. citizens as well as undocumented immigrants do have due process rights protections by the U.S. Constitution.
I'm not sure our forefathers projected or thought many years down the road.
We can't get into the head back in 1776.
Totally agree, but I absolutely agree. But I would have to differ on that because as far as I'm concerned, illegals do not have due process, and if they...
A federal court recently upheld that in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, so regardless of what your personal opinions may be, the law of the land that you are sworn to uphold does say that undocumented immigrants do have due process rights and they should be regarded as persons under the U.S. Constitution.
We believe this bill is fundamentally unconstitutional at both the state and federal level. It's our position that this law is directed at a violation that is a federal violation. Anything having to do with immigration is a federal law violation. What we're seeing here is a state imposition of a punishment based on a federal violation.
Some actually quite unbelievable things have been said, with all due respect, from the honorable members of the committee regarding the rights of immigrants, and there are certainly some, obviously a lot of frustration. Everyone in this room wants the federal government to, or I would assume, wants the federal government to secure our border, to end illegal immigration into the United States, and to provide for a workable solution to our immigration problem. But it is the federal government's job to do that, and the state of Georgia has to recognize when it is empowered to deal with an issue and when it is not. And I believe that if the federal government was, if a representative of the so-called federal government, or ICE, was here, they would tell you that it is their job, not your job, to deal with immigration.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I'm Pat Shivers, Communications Director for the Archdiocese of Atlanta, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Georgia Catholic Conference, representing Archbishop Gregory and Bishop Bolin. I respectfully request that Chairman Hill and members of the committee do not pass HB 978 because of the great potential for harm to the poorest among us in Georgia. HB 978 proposes an extremely harsh and grossly disproportionate penalty against all people, and particularly against those who are very poor in the state.
This room and the highest officials in this state invited the 12 million people, most of them who are here, anybody who lives in a home, anybody who eats food, anybody who has clothing, anybody who has benefited from their labor has welcomed them. 12 million people did not sneak into this country and did not come unlawfully into this country when the people who control the laws, who control the gates, said, come on in.
We want to do the right thing for this country because we love this country. Trust me, the American dream makes the changes on people's lives that you can imagine. Don't take it away, just making us criminals. We didn't came to this country to build bombs and blow buildings. We came to build your buildings, to grow your food, to make your clothes, just like many American people that we love to have our friends.
I'm a citizen. I'm not carrying my passport, and I don't have to carry it. But how can I trust a police officer when it's here? He made a mistake, he didn't have the guts to do it, to say, I made a mistake. I called the wrong attack. So it's putting me, it's jeopardizing my life, my well-being, because he's not trained enough or doesn't have the experience.
La propuesta HB 978 tendría que ser aprobada por la Cámara de Representantes y por el Senado para después llegar al despacho del gobernador Sonny Perdue y convertirse en ley.
As approved by Chairman Mills and also the amendment by Representative Marty Davis. Are there any additional questions by the committee members at this moment? Being none, may I ask all to be in favor of a do pass recommendation to say aye?
Aye.
Those opposed by like sign? There being no opposition, it passed unanimously. We will pass this on to the Rules Committee of the House.
This is very difficult piece of legislation, and it is strictly for the law-abiding citizen. My dad is first-generation, full-blooded Chinese that came to the United States of America 85 years ago. He has, to this day, never been profiled. He is a law-abiding citizen, and I believe that's what we need to do here.
You can take private property away from citizens, from legal immigrants. If there's any suspicious activity pertaining to illegal immigration. So farmers, beware. Poultry industry, beware. Textile industry, beware, because the state has its sights on your property. So that's what's coming next.
At the end of the day, I do feel comfortable with my vote in terms of what we voted out of this committee. Along with my amendment, I feel comfortable that, again, with that amendment in place, it will allow us to have a level of due process as it relates to restoring the vehicle that perhaps was seized, giving that back to the rightful owner.
In this particular law, we don't believe would be in conflict with anything constitutionally. We've had several attorneys look at that, both state attorneys and also some that are not, including some judges, and their opinion, and certainly it is not a Supreme Court opinion, but their opinion that this in no way violates the Constitution of the state of Georgia nor the Constitution of the United States.
Many of my friends are from other countries. Many are Hispanic. Many will continue to be from other countries, and it's very heartbreaking to have someone call you a xenophobic racist when you know that you're not.